Welcome to the Purposeful CEO podcast, the space for passionate, driven leaders who aren't just here to build a business, but to lead a movement. If you're here to make a real impact, to lead with purpose and create a legacy that lasts, then you are in the right place. I'm Emma Campbell, leadership coach, mindset mentor, purpose activator, and mama to two cheeky little munchkins. And for the past 15 years, I've helped small business CEOs scale their team without breaking their culture and unlock their team's full potential. And my mission has always been simple: to help those doing good in the world to do even more good and inspire belief in what's possible for you, because it's all so possible. Let each episode be your reminder to pause from the hustle and come back to you, your why, your purpose, your reason for why you started, to trust that inner knowing and to lead from that place, because when you do, everyone wins. Let's dive in. Hello. So happy to be here. I am really excited to talk to you guys about this topic today, because it is probably the number one question that I get asked these days. It is a really big concern and something that a lot of employers are noticing. And I wonder if this is true for you as well. And that is the topic of employee entitlement. And today we're going to answer the question of, is it a thing? Is it actually a real life thing, or is it something different? And I'm going to talk you through how to address it, I guess. Because number one, we need to actually answer the question of, are employees actually more entitled these days? Like one of the things that I hear from a lot of business owners out there, a lot of employers, is that they feel like their team are expecting more, that they take more things for granted, that they're offering all these amazing things that they never used to have to offer. Whether it's, like a coffee machine or flexibility or learning and growth opportunities or whatever. Or even like pay rises and bonuses or higher pay or a nice work environment. They feel like they're offering all these things and they're feeling like their team isn't really appreciating everything that they do for them. And that in return, they often mention that they feel like their employees aren't working as hard as they used to. So they feel like they're giving more and that they're not actually getting as much as they used to back in the day. And their questions are often around like, what's going on? Like, do I just need to accept that this is the new world of work and just deal with the consequences that these, from now on, I just have to give so much more and not be able to expect, the returns that I want in terms of productivity and performance and contribution? Or like, what do I do in? And it's such a wonderful question, which is why I thought it really needed to be spoken about in a podcast episode. And I think a really key piece that kind of comes into this conversation is that whole piece around like that, my team just doesn't work as hard as they used to. And which kind of like speaks of, a reference to how things used to be back in the day, and exactly like when we're comparing to, like what timeline we're comparing to, what there's kind of a little bit of a hint towards is that we're speaking about that time back in the day when all employees wanted was a safe, secure job. That was like the number one priority, because it was a different world where we didn't have as much safety and security, and it was a different world of work, and all, the number one goal was literally to have a safe, secure job, a paycheck. And if you had a job, you were just so grateful to have that job. So you would just like work your ass off. And that you didn't really demand that much in return because you didn't even really know what to demand or expect. And so if this is what we're referring to Like, has the world of work changed in reference to how it used to be and in what employees used to expect and what employees used to want? Then I would say yes, the world has changed. The working world has definitely evolved. We are in a much more modern, progressive, purposeful, purpose-driven world of work, where what employees want in their work, how they feel they should work, and how they look for work has all changed, has all evolved. And for the better, to be honest. Like, if we look at our our overall rates in society and the world of innovation, performance, productivity, contribution, and the amount that we get done in a day now, particularly with the advent of technology, chat GPTs, systems, processes, automation. Like, if we're looking at the bigger picture of like how much we're actually achieving right now compared to what we used to, the world of work has evolved for the better, to be honest. Like, we're doing things more efficiently, we're doing things more smartly. Like, the world of work, yes, has changed. We're no longer living in a world where having a safe, secure job is enough or the only primary goal. Employees these days, particularly the newer generations who are very forward thinking, very innovative, very tech savvy, very like big picture creative thinkers, they want more than just a safe, secure 9 to 5 that pays the bills. Like, their minds have been evolved and they see their life purpose and their work purpose differently. And what that means for us as employees is that we need to meet them there. Like, they want meaning and purpose. They want to feel like they're growing and that they're reaching their potential. They want a sense of autonomy and control and flexibility over their work. These days, employees, yes, they definitely value work and contribution. And they also see their work as part of a greater life picture for themselves. That life is not just about work, that life is about work and life. Like, they really truly understand that the whole purpose of life is not just work. And this is what the newer generations are feeling and believing more and more than ever. They want to feel like if they are coming to work, that it's worth it, that it's worth their life journey, right? Because we spend more than 80% of our lives at work. So the newer generation, they're taking that seriously and they want to feel like the work that they're doing is something important. It's something meaningful, that it's contributing towards their overall life purpose and growth and fulfillment. They want to feel like their work matters and they won't tolerate poor leadership. They won't tolerate micromanagement. They won't tolerate tasks that don't feel like they need to actually be done, that they're just being done for task and ticking box sake. They won't tolerate outdated structures. They won't tolerate work that doesn't support their overall well-being and growth. Loyalty is no longer assumed. For this new world of work, it's earned. Loyalty is earned through culture, leadership, and opportunity. And that when you meet this new world of work, where they are and where their expectations are, that the level of performance and contribution that you'll get out of these humans will be far beyond what you have ever experienced in the past from the more outdated world of work. The new world of work won't sacrifice their well-being for outdated definitions of hard work. They work differently. They're more interested in results in contribution, in outcomes, in impact, and they believe in working smarter, not harder. They want to be paid fairly, yes, of course, but once pay feels okay and feels fair and reasonable, there are other motivations for them. So the question is this really entitlement? Like, is entitlement the right word here? Or is it a shift in expectations that requires leaders to evolve? Because the world is evolving. And just like anything else in life, like ChatGPT, we can either fight the system, pretend it's not there, and kind of suffer the consequences of not being part of that evolution, or we can meet that change, we can work with it, and we can experience the benefits of that. Because what I've seen is that instead of resisting the shift, my most progressive and high-performing clients and the most high-performing, forward-thinking businesses out there in the world, they are adapting and they are thriving because of it. So it leads us to we've got two options here, right? We can either not change and we can continue to resist, fight, and complain about this shift and continue to get the same result, where we're losing top talent to organizations who are shifting and evolving, experiencing lower team morale, seeing our team not reach their highest potential and performance, and having our business results suffer as a result of this. Or we can choose to evolve and adapt to this change in expectations from employees. And when we evolve and we meet them at their level of expectations, that's when we can attract and retain top talent. That's where we can really, really boost team morale and performance and see our businesses thrive and achieve those desired results that we really want, right? Because these best leaders, they're creating cultures of ownership, autonomy, and purpose, rather than demanding old school hustle and blind loyalty just for the sake of having a job. These days, employees don't just automatically give 110% just because they have a job. They go above and beyond when they feel valued, heard, and invested in. And there is no doubt about it. You've probably heard me harp on about this piece a million times on this podcast, is that studies show that engaged employees, like the really motivated ones that go above and beyond, they perform 23% better. They stay almost half as long, so 43% longer, and they contribute 23% more to profitability. And these engaged employees, the way that we get engaged employees is through leadership and culture. So instead of complaining about entitlement, the best leaders reframe their thinking to align with what truly drives today's modern world of work. And here's 4 key shifts, four changes in thinking that my most progressive forward-thinking leaders really lead with. So the first one is a shift from employees should be grateful to how can we inspire and retain our top talent? Because employees don't just want a job. They want a workplace where they thrive, feel valued, and see a future. So instead of demanding gratitude, why don't you see how amazing this workplace is? My most top performing progressive clients, they are creating a culture where employees genuinely want to contribute. They're looking at things like growth, opportunities, purpose, development, inspiring career pathways. They're building a business and a culture where employees want to come to work and where they feel inspired and don't want to leave. My most progressive clients are also shifting from a mindset of they don't work hard enough to, are we measuring the right things? So rather than it being about hours worked or whether employees are coming in, to clock a particular time on the clock, that they are focused more on results, success metrics, and impact. That is their number one priority. And that's not to say that they're not looking at things like hours, but they're really balancing that with actually what is the purpose of why our employees come to work, rather than looking at how many hours they're there, which is like a really control-focused mindset. They're actually looking at what are the core results that we want them to deliver. What are the core elements of success that would show us that they are actually achieving meaningful results and impact in the direction that we want to move for our business? If people aren't performing, then it's about digging deeper. Like, how can we motivate them to really understand what the most important parts of their roles are? Because it's not about just having a bum on a seat, right? It's actually identifying what are the core areas that we want to see progress and success in. And this can look like having role clarity cards in place. This can look like defining really meaningful metrics. KPIs, yes, I prefer meaningful metrics that actually matter, that employees feel connected to. And the third shift from they expect too much to what can we offer to actually drive retention? Because employees today want growth opportunities. They want to have a feeling of like they're doing meaningful, purposeful work that matters. And they want flexibility that makes sense for the role, not just a paycheck. So companies that are investing in career development opportunities, in an ability to like actually become masters in their skill sets and their areas of work, who are offering opportunities to really thrive in it, like from a place of like actually like well-being at work and having an inclusive culture. These are the things that really retain top talent. And here's the fourth and final one. This is a really key one as well, is a shift from, we do so much for our team, they should be more appreciative, to, are we actually communicating our value to our team? Because so often what I see a lot with my clients is that, yes, they actually are doing so much for their team. They're offering them incredible career development opportunities. They're offering them flexibility. They're offering them really competitive pay and incentive systems. They're offering them meaningful, purposeful work that makes the difference. They're offering them a thriving culture that actually feels really wonderful to be in it. And sometimes their team is not appreciating it because sometimes they don't even recognize that it's what their employer has been prioritizing and implementing and spending time and money to create. So many business owners feel underappreciated because they don't communicating what they're actually providing in a way that connects and resonates clearly to their team. So often the employees don't actually know that full picture of what's actually being done for them. So it's important. So like, say, for example, this could be during like your team meetings. You might do like a little bit of a celebration session where the employer is actually sharing with the team, these are the things that we have implemented lately. And, we've got a new coffee machine. And the reason that we did this is because we want to make sure you guys have delicious beverages, that fuel your happiness and your performance all day long. We have just invested in a culture and leadership coach because we care about your happiness and your potential at work. We have just kicked off, or we have just issued pay rises to all of you. We have just kicked off an incentive scheme, like actually making these benefits really visible and clear. Because if we don't say it and we're not really clear about it, the team probably doesn't know what these amazing things are. So how can they be grateful if we don't actually share that information with them? So, because this is such a big topic, I have decided to lead a free masterclass on just this whole area of employee entitlement, employee engagement, how to boost team morale without pay rises and without bonuses. Because I have recognized that this is a piece that so many people still don't know, and there is so much potential to it. Like, I hear from employers time and time again that they feel like their culture is suffering and that their first go-to response is, maybe I should give my employees a pay rise. Maybe we need to implement an incentive scheme so that we can keep the team happy, we can keep them motivated. And I actually said to a client last week, I was like, no more pay rises, no more incentive schemes. I was like, let me introduce you to the science. Let me introduce you to what the research shows time and time again is way more effective than pay rises, that is way more effective than an incentive scheme, and that has way longer lasting, sustainable results. And it's these more intrinsic, psychology-backed strategies that actually boost team morale for the long term. They're the secrets that when you understand them, it will shift the whole way that you lead your business. And it will stop you from bleeding cash in just like implementing pay rises over and over again. Like, no more dishing out money to team parties and team lunches that might leave your team feeling a little bit more motivated for a day or two, potentially. Sometimes it can actually go in the other direction. But these are the things, like specific actions that you can take to drive long-term happiness, engagement, and performance long-term, which will transform the results of your business. This is about learning the real science of what drives a motivated, engaged, high-performing team. And the best news is that it costs nothing. And they don't just propel engagement in the short term. They are solutions that last, and they actually build on each other over time to strengthen your culture and magnify your business results. Because here's the thing. Here's the bottom line. The best teams win by evolving, not complaining. And I've seen it time and time again. You can either fight the system, you can fight the reality, and continue to get the same average results, continue to lose really good people to other businesses that are changing and evolving, and continue to have a struggling culture that's disengaged and low team morale. Or you can adapt. You can work with the system. You can meet this new world of work where they are and what they're looking for. And can I just say that they are amazing? The new world of work is freaking incredible if we meet their motivators where they are. This is about creating a team and a culture and an organization that uplifts, that inspires, that unlocks team potential and where business results thrive. Because businesses that adapt to the workforce shifts will thrive, and those that cling to outdated mindsets and the old way of work will continue to struggle with retention, engagement, and resentment. So I'll leave you with a really great question for employers to ask, for you as an employer, I guess, to ask yourself is, are we leading in a way that makes employees want to give their best? And if you don't know, or if you want to learn, then come along to that masterclass that I'm running. The link is in the show notes below. Like if you click on this podcast and then you have a look at the show notes, the link will be in there to join. It'll change your business life forever. And this is what my existing clients know, all of this stuff, and they are reaping the benefits of a strong culture, incredible business results, like long-term retention, commitment, and loyalty from their employees. Like one of my clients went from like a 60 to 70% employee engagement rate, losing loads of employees, sitting at about 6 mil in revenue per year, to just in 2 to 3 years, they had doubled their revenue. So they had moved to like, I think it was about 10 to 12 mil revenue in a year. They moved their employee engagement rate up to 85%. And I think they went from losing like, God, maybe 5 or 6 employees a year to losing less than 1 employee a year on average. Like really, really holding on to and retaining the most incredible people. And you could see that their business results and their growth and their customers really benefited on the back of that. So this stuff works. I just cannot say it enough. So come and join the masterclass. The link is in the show notes below. Can't wait to see you there. And I hope that this really helped you with shifting your mindset around entitlement and really seeing how this can actually be the biggest opportunity for your business. Sending lots of love. I'll talk to you so soon. Thank you so much for listening. If you got value from this episode, I've got a little request for you. Either share it with a fellow leader who you know needs this in their life, or leave a super quick review. It only takes a few seconds, yet it helps us so much in expanding our reach and our impact and bringing on even bigger names onto the potty to then inspire your growth and your journey. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you in advance, and I can't wait to see you next time.